Good morning and welcome to today's good news. My name is Mitch. I'm a missionary here at Calvary Chapel, Rosarito. Today we are once again in the book of Proverbs, and you might be saying, "Hey Mitch, what is that on your back?" It's a slide. And then you might be saying, well, what do you got a slide on your back for? Because today, verse, we're going to be talking about the backslider. And we're in Proverbs 14. Now, so often we think of, in the church, we think of a backslider as somebody that has left the church, that's no longer with us. You know, they used to be a missionary, now they ran back to the States, and they're not even fellowshipping. We think of that as a backslider. But the Bible has a much more robust outlook on what a backslider is, and it talks about being a backslider of the heart. And so this is the definition I like. Any area of our life that we have taken for the Lord, and now we have given it back. If you've given back that area that you had victory over before, that sin that you've asked forgiveness for, and you did good for so many years, and then you went back to it, that is a person that's in a backsliding state. And I've been there, and most people in the church have. And so let's read our verse here. Proverbs 14:14 says, "The backslider in heart will be filled with his own ways, but the good man will be satisfied from above." The backslider in heart will be filled with his own ways. I love that Solomon contrasts here between so many different times he contrasts between the good man does this and the bad man's going to get that, and the wicked do this and then the good man. All throughout Proverbs he says these things, and it's just black and white. It's right up front. Hey, if you do this, this is going to happen. There's consequences for your action. And it says here, the backslider in heart. I'm going to get this thing up. So what he's telling us here is that backsliding starts in our heart first. If we start to relax about sin, if we're like, it's not that big a deal, these other Christians, we're okay with it, that's not that big a deal. Hey, God's called you to do certain things, and you have to be very vigilant about the sins in your life that you've had victory over. You have to keep watch, because the enemy wants to take that ground back. And believe me, you'll be filled with yourself. I remember when I was in the church and I was doing good, and then I tried to go back to partying again, and it was no longer any fun. I mean, it was just a one-man party, and I got hooked, and I just got filled with it, and I was filled with myself. And being filled with yourself is no fun. That's why the rest of the verse talks about a good man is satisfied from above. See, good things come from the Lord. From above, from outside yourself. You can't satisfy yourself within yourself. That's like the whole self-help movement, is you could do it. Just, really go within and just try real hard. And it doesn't work. You have to go outside yourself and say, hey, I can't change this thing. I need you, Lord. And he will fill you and he will satisfy you. A couple verses earlier, it just says, there is a way that seems right to man, but at the end, and in the end is death. The Lord's just telling us that, hey, your way is not going to work. And we see this so evident in the life of Samson. Samson took the vow that he was not going to touch any dead bodies, and he wasn't going to drink any alcohol. And, little by little, he started doing those things. Little by little, it was like, hey, I just kicked some butt on some uncircumcised Philistines. I want some honey. And it's in a dead animal. It's in a dead lion. So he touches the lion. Hey, has a little honey. Nothing really happens. Not that big a deal. Okay. It's little by little. He starts to slide until in the end, they've got him bound. And he's just grinding that wheel around and around. And he's blind and poked his eyes out. And that's what sin does to you. It binds you. You're hooked on it. You're stuck. It grinds you. You're going around and around. You can't get off. And it blinds you. You can't see anymore. You can't hear from the Lord. You can't see what the Lord's trying to do. Christian, stay away from backsliding. Stay vigilant about your sin. And that's today's good news. In our story, Samson talked about riddles, and I have a riddle for you, and whoever answers this in the answer box below, first one gets 200 pesos for Big George's store downstairs. Here it is. Where do babies come from? Underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. Tell me why.